All right, so I found a pretty nice place here. Um, it's locked, so I couldn't get through here. It's a cattle grazing area, but I found a pretty nice place here to be able to go through some of the upgrades that I did on my Rawrr Mantis X. Um, I think I already made a video covering some of the stuff that I was doing, although I hadn't finished yet. So I'll go over the entire build right now. So one of the things I did, I haven't gotten a chance to do the other side yet, but I replaced the brakes. So this is the rear brake. I replaced it with the pit bike brake caliper. You see there, and then this is a custom bracket that I catted up and I had made through Senkatsen. I also replaced the rear wheel with the 16-inch. The stock is a 17-inch. I replaced it with a 16 pit bike. Um, I I had a disc that I was able to throw on there. I think that's 220. And as far as the sprocket, I think this is a 54 tooth. Let's see, 53 tooth right there, 53. It's slightly bigger than the stock one. Um, I think I can even downsize it just a little bit to gain more top end. But right now I have a speed wobble due to the rear wheel. So the wheel's not true. This is just some cheap Chinese pit bike wheel. So uh, I think after I get above 40 some miles an hour, I feel it. And yeah, it's not, it's a little bit unnerving. I don't know if I should actually, I don't even know if I want to gain any more top speed. I ride this thing up in the hills, so I rarely ever go above uh 40. Anyhow, so I also upgraded the pegs here. These pegs are from Amazon. And no, I'm sorry, from AliExpress, and these were I think under $30. They're CNC aluminum, and you have these little nubs here to help with the friction between the bottom of your foot, bottom of your shoe, and this thing works fine, works perfectly. The stock ones I didn't really like much; it was a bit too slippery. So with mud, these are perfect, under $30. And then the battery, you can't really quite see it. I don't want to take it out right now, but oh, you know what? I can't take it out. Let me take that out for you. Okay, so that's what the battery looks like here. I built a battery. I build a lot of batteries. This is an 88 volt, 40 amp hour, 200 amp discharge. You can see that there's these are the discharge wires here. They branch off of the bus bars. This is for the charging XT90. You can't see it in here, but I have a QS8. I think I have a QS8. This is a sleeper button. When it falls asleep, I use that to turn on the pack. Okay, so that's the battery, and then the controller here. You can't quite see it. You can see the fan. So I implemented some active cooling on both of these guys here. These are just regular PC 12 volt fans here. These are low profile. And the reason why they're low profile, I didn't want to go any bigger because look at the clearance. Look at that. I have about a millimeter worth of clearance here. Any bigger and it would hit. So this was great. I was able to install these guys without cutting into the front fender. But the controller is a 3-shoal CL350. It's rated at 350 phase, 200 line. It's actually only about. It's actually smaller than both of these fans put together, and that's why I needed active cooling because the controller itself is a bit small, and all it has is a huge block of aluminum for cooling. So I had to add a fan. I had to add these fans in. I don't know if you can see it, but there you can see a little bit. There's also fins. So I have a thermal pasted some fins, a fin heatsink, and I also put the fans on top of it. So this keeps the controller completely cool. I'm able to squeeze the full rated output out of this controller implementing this. Um, Here's a headlight. It's just a generic one from AliExpress. But I like this one. I use these on almost all of my dirt builds. This is extremely bright. This is a 240-watt one. It's running off of a 12-volt step down. 12-volt step down is rated at, I think, 20 amps or something like that. Yeah, it's a 12-volt step down, 20 amp. Step down's underneath here. I don't know if you can see it. If I can show you here. There you go. You can see it. So that's a step down. Get some cooling. This plate comes off. There's actually plenty of space underneath there. I have a lot of my wire management underneath there. And then I also have a voltmeter here. This voltmeter goes up to 150 volts, I think. I think it's 150 volts. Phone holder right there. Like I said, I haven't gotten to the other side yet. I have a set of Suron front brake calipers, and I also have the adapter bracket for it. It'll fit onto the stock disc perfectly. I've just been lazy. I haven't gotten around to it yet. Um, what else do I have here? Yeah, so when I use the stock, I mean when I swapped out the rear wheel to a 17-inch, from a 17 to a 16, I was able to use a stock chain. That's why I kind of chose whatever sprocket was closest to the stock rear sprocket. I think the stock rear might be like a 51 or a 50 or something like that. Um, let's see, what else did I do here? Oh, I have tail light. The tail light has brake. So that's it turning on. This is the tail running, and then here's the brake. It flashes. I don't have signals here because I don't ride it on the streets, or at least not often to use signals. I didn't bother with that. Let's see. I have a 3-speed switch here. I think speed 1 is 30%, 65%, and then 100%. Oh, what else did I do to the bike? So I covered the controller, lighting, battery. It's a stock motor. The stock motor handles handles it pretty well. The max I've gotten it up to was 77, and that was after like a 2 minute long top speed pull. 77 Celsius, that is. So you got the rear wheel, got the rear caliper. Yeah, I think this is it here. Oh, this is the switch for my front end rear lights. Um, this is a 220 volt rated switch. I use these for all of my lighting too. So the way I wired this was I wired it from this is in between my step down and battery. Remember the battery is 100 volts full charge, so I can't just use any old light switch. As soon as if I try to use one of those regular light switches that go onto handlebars, as soon as I turn it on, you'll hear some arcing, and the contactors are basically struggling to keep up with the higher voltage, and end up burning out really quickly. So what I did here was I used one of these higher voltage ones. This handles, I think, 25 amps, maybe 30 amps, maybe 20 amps. Yeah, something like that. But this is wired in between my battery and the step down. So so the way it works is I have the battery do this switch to the step down, and then step down to the lights. So this is the on. This is essentially the on and off switch for both the front headlight and the tail light for me. And then the way I was able to get the brake light working, how did I get the brake light working? Oh, yes. The brake light. I have a 12-volt output on the controller, and auxiliary output on the controller that I'm tapping into. So when I engage the brake, it turns on the rear at 12. I think that's it. Maybe it's been a while since I've done this. I have to look at the schematics and get my paperwork to see if I even have that right. Anyhow, so yeah, this is the Rawrr Mantis X. I bought this specifically because of the seat. I go for pretty long rides. Well, not actually not that long, but I just have a sensitive butt. I wanted as I wanted a very comfortable bike. I had a Surron before, and the Surron seat just wasn't cutting it for me. I know they have those aftermarket Luna seats, but um, the Surron platform it takes a lot to be able to upgrade it. Um, at least to something like this here. This has a 16 rear, 19 front, so it opens up a lot of tire options. The Surron was 1919. I wanted to swap the rear to a 16, but I didn't want to pay $1,000 for a wheel set. So did a bunch of research, looked at all the other platforms, and the Rawrr Mantis X came up on top for upgradability. Although there's no support, aftermarket support for it, but I'm able to do a lot of this stuff myself. So I figured, the bones of the Rawrr Mantis X is, I think, better than anything else out there. Battery has plenty of space for a battery. Comes with a QS motor, QS1 2050H. Comes with the chain drive. It's a geared motor with the chain drive, so there's no surround belt to deal with. I didn't want to deal with that conversion as well. Extremely comfortable seat. Seat can take off easily. I think the only thing I would change, other thing I'd upgrade is maybe the front suspension. Um, the front suspension is still okay right now, but it could be better. It could be better. Yeah. If you guys have any questions, um, shoot me a comment down below. I also build a lot of other. I build a lot of razors. I built this just for functionality. I built this to go up into the hills and um, have a larger bike for myself and friends. But most of the bikes I build are razors or mini bikes. The mini bikes they just don't take up as much space, and people just don't really pay attention to them much. Something like this, it looks more like a dirt bike, and people begin scowling at you. Yeah. Any questions? Just drop a comment below. I'm happy to answer any questions. I've also posted some of the stuff in the Rawrr Mantis group. Um, yeah, I might make a bracket specifically for here. I essentially just tapped a hole back here and 3D print this bracket for the light here. If there's any interest, I can sell that. I sell lighting kits for, or at least a rear tail light assembly for razors, so I could do this for the Rawrr as well. All right, well that's it. I'm going home now.